A video appears online, but the message isn't just in what you see. It begins with a recording, a black and white video, grainy, unstable. A figure stands inside a decaying building, wearing what appears to be a plague doctor mask. Long beak, dark cloak. It doesn't speak, but it moves, slowly, deliberately. At times, it raises its hand, a small light blinking in the centre of its palm. The sound is worse. Not music, not static, a harsh, distorted buzzing, mechanical, layered. Something that doesn't just sit in the background, it presses forward, like it's carrying something. The video is labelled 11B-X-1371. No explanation, no origin. It's sent anonymously to a tech blog, and then it spreads. People began watching it, replaying it, frame by frame, and that's when they notice it's not just a video, it's a puzzle. Hidden inside the footage are codes, base 64 strings, binary sequences, ciphers embedded into frames, symbols appearing for fractions of a second, too fast to see normally. So people start digging. Online communities begin working together, breaking pieces down, comparing findings, and then someone analyses the audio, not by listening, but by converting it into a spectrogram, a visual representation of sound. And that's when it changes, because the noise wasn't just noise. Hidden inside the audio were images, distorted at first, then clearer. Figures, faces. Some appear to show mutilated bodies. Others trace back to real-world crime imagery and films. Text begins to emerge too. Phrases like, "You are already dead," coordinates, ciphers, Latin phrases. One decoded message translates to attack or target men. Another points to the White House. And suddenly, the tone shifts, because this no longer feels like abstract art. It feels targeted. Some people begin to interpret it as a threat, possibly linked to bioterror symbolism. The plague mask, disease references. Others think it's something else, an experiment, a constructed puzzle, because whoever created it didn't just hide messages, they layered them: video, audio, encryption, visual encoding, designed so no single person could solve it alone. And that's exactly what happened. People worked together across forums, across countries, decoding, sharing, reconstructing meaning piece by piece. But even after all that, something remained incomplete. Because while many of the codes were solved, the full intention wasn't. Then, months later, someone steps forward. A man calling himself Parker Warner Wright. He claims to have created the video as part of an art project, filmed in an abandoned sanatorium in Poland. He says the purpose was never to give a single clear answer, but to create something layered, something collaborative, something that required people to work together, to interpret. And even then, not everything will be fully understood, because even after the creator speaks, questions remain. Why those images? Why those messages? Why that tone? Why embed meaning in sound? instead of just showing it, because that raises a different kind of question. Not just how the message was hidden, but why it was presented this way at all. The footage itself was recorded inside an abandoned building in Poland, a former sanitarium, a place with its own history. During the Second World War, accounts state the building was taken over, used during the Nazi occupation. And like many sites tied to that period, stories remain, not all fully documented, not all fully understood, but enough to give the location weight. A place where real events once unfolded, and then someone chooses that place to film a silent figure wearing a plague doctor mask, a symbol historically tied to disease, isolation, death, and it combines it with messages that suggest threat, control, targeting. You are already dead. Coordinates, instructions, fragments that hint but never fully explain. So the question shifts again. Was this just a constructed puzzle, or was it built using symbols that were chosen for a reason? Because even after the creator stepped forward, even after claiming it was an art project, not everything was explained. Not every image, not every message, and not every decision behind how it was put together. Why that building? Why that imagery? Why combine history with something that feels like a warning? Because the most unsettling part isn't what was decoded, it's what wasn't. The fragments that remain, the meanings that don't quite resolve, and the possibility that some parts of it were never meant to be fully understood at all.